I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to Lawlessness and Human Rights. We have Mr. Zakin, criminal expert, along with Mr. Raldos. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
We have Mr. Raldos in our office today, so he'll be able to educate us about, I would say, street life and tell us a little bit about people behind bars. And he's here to guide us through with our adolescent who is getting into trouble right now, who has been released from jail and prison without bail or on ROR. Good afternoon, Mr. Raldos.
Good afternoon.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Wilfredo Roldos. I'm a case manager at the After Hours Project for harm reduction, and I instruct people with Narcan, show people how to, if they have any risk pertaining to their addictions, I send them to detox rehab, and anything dealing with guiding someone to their addiction in recovery.
In another word, it's anybody could go to you, or how
Yes.
does it work?
Yes, anybody could come to the office, or they could call and make an appointment, and I could speak to them. I also do counseling there as well, one-on-one counseling. I also do for the HRA, Human Rights Administration, for their START program. When people have problems in their housing and they're being addicted and they have problems, they can't maintain their housing because of their drug problem, they send them to me. And I assist them, and I try to show them tips on how to, techniques and tips how to manage their addiction.
Fabulous. So in another word, we had a little commercial about that. So, Mr. Raldos, have you ever been arrested before?
Yes, I've been arrested.
Okay. Was it arrest for a reason, or do you think that it has been wrongful arrest?
Well, according to the authorities, they had a reason, but it was a wrongful conviction.
Okay. You've been behind bars, and if yes, can you tell us for how long?
I've been incarcerated since 1981, March the 10th, and released in 2012. That makes it approximately 30 years.
30 years behind the bar.
30 years straight behind the walls of cement.
Yes, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I understand.
Okay. So as far as I understand, you are one of those people that was wrongfully arrested. How do you think, I know that there are a lot of people behind bars that has been arrested wrongfully. Now, with God's help that you're here, we're trying to help out people that has been wrongfully arrested. Obviously, nobody can hear them, and nobody is able to help them out as well. And we're trying to help them out. How do you think we have to proceed with it?
Well, the only way of means of communication to people that are incarcerated are through their loved ones that visit them. The majority of our women, their girlfriends, their wives, their mothers, and an occasional couple of men that do come visit visitors at the prisons.
Okay. So in another word, loved ones could reach out to us, and we can go ahead and proceed, obviously. Now, we have an email address. If you'd like to email us, once again, you're more than welcome to do so. lawlessnessandhumanrights@gmail.com. We'll be more than happy to assist you with it. Now, why do you think that people behind bars are not able to help themselves? Why they have to go through loved ones? I mean, we do have a few defendants that don't have anybody. there is no relatives, or they're immigrants and they're not able to help themselves, and they were convicted. That's about it. They're behind bars. How can we go with them? How can they reach out to us? Is there any computers in there behind bars, or?
There's radio. There's radios you can hear. There's also right now they have like laptops there, like little miniature laptops that during commercials, or loved ones during festivals, when they have festivals or religious festivals, people can pass the word around, and hopefully we could assist them. They could be assisted.
Fabulous. All right. So basically, there is a contact. There is a way to contact us, not only through phone calls. Before, years and years ago, we knew, for example, like people were wrongfully arrested. There was people were accused, or police didn't do their investigations. As we know, they don't do their investigations. Most definitely, people got arrested. Now, nowadays, in today's life, we do have cell phones. Police have their body cameras, and people are still getting arrested. Everything is public, even though everything is public, but people are still getting arrested wrongfully. What do you think about it? How do you think we could avoid that?
Sometimes it all depends upon an individual. A lot of people are not educated. That's the primary thing. You got to educate yourself, especially with the law. The law they were supposed to teach you when you were in the 4th grade in this country. Apparently, they don't teach you that. Especially in certain neighborhoods, they don't teach that. In certain schools, they don't teach that. A lot of us learn it while we're incarcerated. I became a legal assistant. I was an assisting gentleman to get out. I was one of those that would tell myself, I won't be one of those guys that I'm going to be here and I'll be helping everybody else and I can never get out. And apparently, that was the vice. I was one of those people that I was assisting people and I couldn't get myself out because of funds, because of lack of connections, and people didn't want to assist me from the street. Everybody always wants funds. When you're incarcerated, you don't have funds. You have what is called a little wager, because we're under servitude. Servitude meaning we're slaves of the state.
Yes, this is
still
true.
there.
This is true.
And we do the best that we can to learn, and law is very complicated to a lot of people. Unfortunately, I picked up on it very quickly. I learned from some of the best up in there, and I went forward. And the only way you can make anything for people that, in my situation, they have to go home. They have to be on parole. They have to work from outside to prove that an injustice was done. And the only way you're going to be released is by admitting that you did something in which you really didn't. That's the only way you're going to get out, because there's nobody innocent in prison according to Department of Corrections. We don't have innocent people in prison. Everybody's guilty.
If you're not guilty, anyway you're guilty.
You're guilty whether you like it or not. That's the code. That's the way it is, and it's never going to change. You know. Yes.
When you were behind bars, as far as I understand, you were there when you were a little kid or a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
You were behind bars already. You educated yourself there, or did you have any classes there?
Well, primarily went to the library, educated myself, became autodidact, and then they offered some classes which were very small in number, which was done primarily by the inmates that were there before me. And you would actually have to pay them a couple of packs of cigarettes to learn what they learned, because they also, a lot of people, you're messing with a dysfunctional society. And a lot of us grew up that way, and you're classified that when you come in prison, whether you are or not. But some people, in order to survive, they're gonna ask for some things.
Of
Yeah,
course.
this is true.
And especially if they're teaching you, if they're educating you, if you're learning something. Basically, You give, you get. As
Exactly.
far as I understand. Now, it's for adolescent. It's not some kind of commercial for you to go to behind bars saying, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna get educated there." Not at all. Basically, we're here to keep you away from there, not to get you there.
Exactly.
Now, another question is, now, Mr. Zakin, question to you. As we were talking to Wilfredo, he was wrongfully arrested. And he was, due to the fact that he was wrongfully arrested, there are certain he was behind bars for so many years. He missed his teenage years. He missed a lot in his life. He has to catch up so much. I believe he's in his 50s already. But how do you think, who was at fault for that?
It's not easy
Since
question.
you are, I understand.
It's not easy question, be honest with you. First of all, it's thousands and thousands of people like Mr. Alfredo, which was wrongfully arrested, wrongfully was imprisoned, you know. This is our pain, is cancer of body of people.
I understand.
You understand? This is the cancer. Why cancer? Because most of the time these people was arrested because detectives, DA, doesn't want to do proper job.
Yeah, but before it gets to DA, I do apologize to
Oh, yes,
cut you off.
definitely.
Before it gets to DA, as far as I understand, police arrests. At the incident appears police, correct?
Yes.
Don't you think that the police has to be somehow educated, somehow get some kind of education to do X, Y, and Z, to put the puzzles together? Because police arrests, police transfers this case to who? To DA or to detectives first,
No,
right?
yes, to detectives. Yes,
Detectives?
detectives to the booking.
To booking, and then it gets to
To the
DA. So basically,
DA.
there is a chain.
Absolutely.
So by the time it gets to DA, if there was only, I would say, if the person found only one penny, it gets $1,000. I would say, right? So,
First of all, I tell you some other things. This is the business. This is the business for police. This is the business for DA. This is the business for the system. For the jail system also.
absolutely
Jail system have big income from the people which is
behind bars.
behind the bar.
Correct.
You understand, yes? First of all, police, like I said before, police officers which is come to the scene, you know, which is start to make it the first decision of the crime.
Right.
Police must to be educated. How I see most of my customer, most of them which is was arrested, which is was incarcerated, most of them is just a talk against the talk. Some of them say this guy did this, and this. No evidence, no nothing. And that this is the
Right.
poor guy going to the jail.
Absolutely.
Not just for 1 year. You know? And the another things, most of them going to the play guilty because he's, like I said before,
He's exhausted already.
exhausted, completely exhausted. Now, completely right view of these things if we start to educate our police officers, which is the first coming to the place of the crime.
Right.
After this is detectives must to be not, detective doesn't have to, detective must to,
Detectives don't go right to the place of incident.
oh no, when he was incarcerated, yes, detectives take him over there.
No. I mean, like, okay, at the time of incident, like for instance, there was a shooting or whatever, and neighbors called police, 911. Police came over, and they grabbed several people. Correct?
Okay.
But detectives are not there.
No. Some of them, yes, but most of them, you doesn't know this, detective doesn't know detective, you know?
Oh, okay.
Detective doesn't know detective. Some of them come to the place, but he's giving this job to some another detective. I like this one, yes? Because this is the new detective which is just to come, he doesn't know what's going on. For him, you
He's
know,
not informed. He's not
he's
fully informed.
fully informed.
Correct.
Another things, over here to be detective, you doesn't need to have some 3 college degree.
Absolutely.
Oh no! You just have few years of the job or 5 years of the job, and you start to be detective.
Oh.
But an original way to be detective, you must to have knowledge of a lot of things.
You have to be educated.
Over here, DA make it some type of decision just because he's have the power of DA. If I'm wrong, tell me.
They have a lot of power.
This means a lot of power, but life of the human already broken.
Correct.
Life for, you know what, to sitting in the jail, and I see you bring me the paper, which is, you show me the paper, which is say you was, your paper was not completely done.
No, it wasn't. They did not fulfill their contract. They fraudulently did things in open court, and they were supposed to know these statutes, and they were saying here that they were not generated, and that's impossible because this is the statute. Statute is the law. It's the black letter law of the land, and they did not follow it.
Why?
That question I cannot answer. Maybe is because
It's okay, I answer for you.
Sure.
Because these people just wanna say, take a look, I am the DA. I have the power. And my opinion, government lost nice citizen, you know, like you. You're very educated, you're very knowledgeable guy, you know, possible if you not we are incarcerated wrongfully, you know, possible you be nice police officer, like you told me, you, what times you was in the 18 years age, you want to be police officer,
Yes, I did.
Possible you be nice DA, you know, it means your life was broken because wrong decision of the police officer, detectives, DA, and all the system, you know.
The whole system.
But like you told me before, police have people which did this crime, yes?
Yes, they did.
It mean
In another word, they had a person who committed the crime.
And they let him go because he was a minor.
Oh my God.
We had the same nickname, but he was part of their little gang, and being that they caught him, and he was in the precinct, and they had him, and we had the same street nickname, and we look alike. So they said, well, I'm a little older, I could hold I could be given that guy. He would have went home in 4 or 5 years because he was
Adolescent.
Adolescent, and they charged me with this and made me an adult, even though I was still adolescent, but I had a couple of years older than him. He was 14 at that time when they caught him, and they said he could only get a little bit of time, so they let him go because his whole family was there, and they kept me. I don't know. I was bewildered. I don't know what's going on, but that's how it works. They can get more time out of me than him.
I understand. Take a look, Alfredo. I have almost every day phone call from the jail, which is the people say he's wrongfully arrested, and the people say he was wrongfully incarcerated. You know, be honest, I believe it, because right now I have almost 500-600 cases just from last year and this year, which was police falsified the cases. You know.
Wilfredo, question.
Yes.
For how long your case was going on before you went upstate?
2 years.
So in another word, for 2 years you were in jail in Rikers?
On Rikers Island, yes.
I wonder why they keep the case going for so long. What is the reason? Like, what do they gain off of it? If within 2 years they didn't prove you that you were guilty, and all of a sudden after 2 years they had evidence and they kept you guilty and they sent you to...
Because I went to
Prison?
trial. I got convicted. Solely on the fact that because of my co-defendants.
It's okay, I say something. If defendant, from my life experience, okay?
But this is what they said.
Wait a
That's what
second.
the judge said.
Wait a
The
second,
judge
let me
says
finish
You
it.
can't let them go. You cannot let Roldos go, me, and keep them. It's a whole package. You gotta. If you find these two guilty, he's guilty too with them. I was found not guilty, but they put me in the package, in the courtroom. The jury has to come back with a 3 guilty. They had to. So then, because the judge said that.
Take a look. From my experience, most of the defendant, most of the people which is going to the trial, why somebody go to the trial? He's feel he's not guilty. He's think judge see what's going on. Judge have a right decision. You know, and but from my experience again, most of them, if you go to the trial, you lost. How do you think? If this guy knows he's not the guilty, he's go to the trial? No.
But hold on a second.
Okay.
And judge, again, let's go into our question. Judge depends on the answer of jurors.
Absolutely.
Judge is not the only
No.
one who makes the decision. Judge only reads. Yes, I mean, there's certain stuff that obviously he corrects or does whatever. But again, he depends on jurors.
I understand. But all these things depends of the, before you go to the trial, DA say, you know what? I can give you from 5 to 10 years. If you go to the trial, you have that from 20 to life.
Life, yeah.
It means people doesn't have another choice. He say, okay, give me them 5 years, just leave me alone. Like this one, yes?
Unfortunately.
That's
yes.
people do that,
Yeah,
but I didn't do that.
I understand. It means this is why you go to the jury, yes?
The judge, he's the trier of fact. He's the one who holds the scales, and he's supposed to protect you as a defendant as well. That's his job.
To see the right thing.
Right, that they do the right thing, and that both parties are doing the correct statutory thing, and which he himself also violates. Who's watching him? You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going on. A lot of things are fraudulently represented, and when it comes to light, disciplinary committees are only going to just smack them in the hand and just
This is true.
keep it going.
This is true.
Question. Since you are wrongfully arrested, you've been behind bars for so many years. When you're gonna proceed, hopefully you're gonna proceed with the case against the state, city, whatever.
No, I don't have to proceed no more.
Oh, you do?
I have a notarial notice of non-response. It was done by the notary, which a lot of people do not know. The notary has the power of a judge. Okay?
Wow.
Yes, they do. And this was submitted to the judges because I was requesting my certificate of conviction, which is supposed to go in conjunction with the commitment and sentencing order. It's a one page behind the other. There's not just one single page and they send you upstate. No, it must come with the other one. That's the one that protects your rights from double jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
This here indicates that they requested it, these notary, private administrative practices, remedy, and the respondents, they dishonored me. They did not want to respond back, which is the judge in the criminal court and the Supreme Court judge. Both of them, the clerk of the court and the clerk. And being that they did that, it creates an estoppel by occurrence and judgment and estoppel, meaning that everything that was done against me is supposed to stop. It's null.
For example, last time when we had an interview with my other person, he was telling me that when people behind bars, it's easy to find a job. It's not true that they don't get a job that they want and stuff like that. But as far as I know, it's a lot difficult than people might think, because I do have a lot of defendants that are coming out from or coming over from upstate, and they go crazy to find a job.
Yeah, this is true.
How difficult or how easy it is to get a job? That's number one. And number two, would you be able to get a government job? Like, for example, when we were talking before the interview, you said that you passed your police officer exam before your arrest. Now, if you were going to be a police officer, do you think that you would be, or not that do you think, probably you applied already, or how did it work?
Once-
Obviously, you cannot get a job, right?
Once you have a felon, you have to be truthful when you're getting interviews because you could get fired by that. You could get that to stay on your record. Finding a job when you come home, well, it depends upon what you were convicted for. If you were convicted for rape, if you were convicted for any child molestation, arson, those people do not want to hire people like that. But the city has a clause of they hire anybody. The MTA, they do hire people.
MTA hires?
Yes, the MTA,
okay.
the buses, the city does, but you just can't have any law enforcement. Like if I was to get work for the law department, I could work there as a legal assistant, but I could never be issued a sidearm because I have a felony.
Mhm.
But if I was in another state, I would be given a. Depends upon the judge, depends upon who's the senators and everything. They could give you an immunity from that,
Yeah.
and it goes according to how long you've been working. Finding a job is remember you're in a. It's like you're in the twilight zone in prison, and you're coming out here and you touching things that you seen on television. Touching a MetroCard, a simple thing that you go back and forth on the train. You don't know what to do with it.
Yeah. This
Some
is true.
people go like, they swipe it. They see you swiping it. They don't know which side you're swiping. So you have to teach how to swipe, how to use a MetroCard, how to use a phone, how to use a computer. People have to. A lot of people have to leave their prison back, leave them back there.
Basically, you're a newborn.
Yeah, you're a newborn back in society, and
Right.
it's frustrating, and you want to do the right thing. A lot of guys come out here, they want to do the right thing, and I help
Yeah, this
them-
is true.
I help
This
them in
is
my
true.
agency, and they all want to come back and they want to do this right thing. But you're being released from an upstate prison back to the same place where you got arrested on the corner where there's broken glass and everything else with the graffiti. So that's reality.
Yeah, that's reality. That's true.
So, you have to go forward from there, and a lot of it is the ego. You got to destroy ego. If you keep that ego, you're not going to go nowhere.
If you want to change your life, you can
Yes.
change it.
Yes,
You have wife, you have family, you have kids. Everything is being
It's
right
your
way.
it's in your own hands.
Exactly, and it's not easy, but it can become easy if you accept reality. Accept the fact that I need to be trained again. I need to go to an agency. You have a lot of agencies out here that do assist people. You need
Yeah.
help, they get you welfare, they get you this. You got to start from scratch again, from ground zero. Okay, your lifestyle before you got arrested was you had money, you had this, you had that. Now you have nothing. So
Yeah.
now you have to humble yourself just like we humble ourselves in the penitentiary. We have nothing in there. You're living a life of a hobo up in there, of a bum, from cell to cell. You have no property. The only
Yeah.
property you have is what you have on you, and that's not even yours. That belongs to the state.
Mhm.
Nothing you have is yours.
This is
your
true.
state property. You're a slave. So now you are here as a free person,
Why you say you slave?
because that's the laws that we're under, servitude. That's what it's called, servitude.
It's been part of your feeling.
When you are incarcerated, you break the laws of any state or of any country in the United States. You fall into servitude, meaning you're a slave again. All your rights are taken. Not all of them, but the majority of them, yes.
Are you allowed to vote in there?
No, you're not allowed to vote.
Oh, you don't vote. When you're in
No.
prison, you don't vote.
No, certain other states allow their prisoners to vote, but the state of New York does not allow that.
It's mean-
Before they send, I do apologize. Before they send you upstate, is there any offices that you have to report that you're going upstate, or you're going to be sent upstate? Like certain defendants that are coming over to our office, and they don't even know that, for example, today they're going to go to jail. I mean, not jail, but today they're going to go to court and they're going to be arrested. They don't know that. They still think that, yeah, I'm just going to go to court and it's going to be adjourned. But come to find out, they call me up from jail and they go like, oh, Marina, I'm sorry, I was sent to jail. Does the court notify the places?
That's the purpose of what I've done. That is called the certificate of conviction, the execution of sentence. Whose job is that? That is the court, the judge, and the district attorney to notify the Board of Elections that you are not there anymore.
Wow,
why
yeah,
you
that's true.
so why are you counting me in this county and getting profit money?
Wow.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, second, you got to notify all the Department of Schools. I was a young person at the time, still under the age that I could still go to school. So you have to notify all the schools.
Yeah.
You have to also notify the Department of Social Services. How are you going to pay for me to be upstate? It's not free. There's nothing free. They take that money out of your Social Security. So you would be incarcerated upstate. Okay? For you to get benefits. For you to get dental, medical. All that comes out of you. You're not free. You're paying to be incarcerated.
Yeah.
And it's their job to do it. And that's the reason why the certificate of conviction was never done on me. When I came home, I was asked to go to the jury. Even when I was incarcerated, I had a paper indicating you must report to the jury. I'm incarcerated.
Yeah.
Why don't you people know that I'm incarcerated? Why are you sending me this? Are you ridiculing me? No, it's because I didn't know at the time. So then I started searching. And a good friend of mine, before he died, he told me about it. His name
Wow.
was Edward Moss, an attorney. And before he passed, he says, look into this. And then I looked into it. And what happened was that it's true. They never generated it. They say they don't do it. They're not going to do it. They don't have records of it. So eventually I went and I fulfilled my contract to go to
DA, judge, and the system broke the law?
Yes, that's exactly fraudulently represented the law, yes, of the United States of America, behind a flag. Because there's
Wow.
a flag. And they broke that law. They broke my rights. They broke not only my rights, but many of them. But I can speak for myself because I have the proof of it. You understand me? You don't tell people something unless you have the proof.
Oh yeah, this is true.
Now,
Talk against the talk is nothing.
exactly. Talk is talk, walk is walk. You understand?
Yeah, this is
then,
true.
But this thing here is that it shows that they don't have it. They don't want to disclose it. They don't want to give it up, and they never did it because if you have it, you give it up. People who do have it and it's partially made by the court, the clerk signed it, then the judge just signed the other half. They come back down, they get half a sentence. Half of their sentence resentenced again. They don't have it, they were supposed to be released, and you cannot be convicted again because they violated you.
Because you doesn't know the law.
You cannot be persecuted twice for the same crime.
Oh yeah, this is
That
true.
is the law. So then why they hit everybody upstate for the nature of your crime? That's the reason why we were over sentenced.
Yeah.
And because of the nature of your crime. The nature of your crime cannot repeat itself all the time. How many times could you sentence me for the same thing? You can't do that. So they do it anyway because you don't have the certificate of conviction. And if you don't know, shame on you. That's how it works. That's how it works. If you don't know, the judge, he knew about it or he probably forgot about it. I don't know. I cannot speak for them, I don't want to wish him anybody ill, but they were supposed to protect me. The DA the assistant district attorney supposed to protect me. They were supposed to make sure that this certificate was there before I was sent to upstate to protect me from double jeopardy. I could have been brought back down and resentenced or given the same crime again and given much more time.
Yeah, this is true.
So that's is the system.
It's a shame.
I brought this to Legal Aid Society, and they told me that it would be it's like opening up a can of worms.
Oh yeah, yeah. I understand.
Because a lot of lawyers they wasn't even aware that this law existed, which is they had the audacity to tell me that in my face. You went to school for this.
But isn't it better, I believe, for example, a person like yourself, you know a lot about the law, as far as I see. I've known you for quite some time already, and every time that I speak to you, it's a pleasure, always. I believe it's better if you go pro se instead of hiring an attorney.
One thing I've learned that a lot of this stuff I've done pro se.
Oh, okay.
I do my own litigation and everything, but you also need an advocate
Oh,
that
okay, gosh.
something can happen to you, someone to be at the courthouse at that moment to represent you.
Somebody must to be. This is true. Somebody
Not
must to be.
represent me as a dummy, but to represent me in the fact that something may happen. I'm a human being. This is all done by humans. This is not done by machines. Human error. But when you have somebody that's in a position of power, like these officers, these judges, these DAs, the anybody that's in law enforcement and judicial law enforcement as well,
Yeah.
the judiciary branch, you're a human being and you also commit error. Who's gonna tell you shame on you? The judicial committee? They're all the same judges. They're
Take a
all
look.
the old boy club.
In the courtroom must to be somebody who is together with you. You know. Somebody must to be like a lawyer, some legal aid, or somebody must to be.
Yeah, but again, I mean, there are some lawyers from God, and there are some lawyers, God forbids.
Oh yeah, this is true also. But be
the
honest.
same way as with
Be honest, I tell you
doctors.
something. You know, most of them nice people. Most
No,
of them
I
nice people.
understand.
Hold on.
Most.
That's the nice has nothing to do when you take an oath.
Oh yeah, this is true.
When you take an oath, when
Yeah.
you take an oath in office, everybody here took an oath in office. The judge, the DA, the district attorney, the lawyers,
Yeah.
okay? Even law enforcement, to protect people from domestic and foreign problems, you know. These people took an oath, and they took an oath to protect all American citizens, whoever comes in
To
there,
protect your
they
rights.
did not protect my rights.
Take a
was
look.
treated
Why
like a
these
third
people
world
don't
country
protect your
citizen.
rights? Because these people
I was poor.
doesn't have knowledge
And I was
how
poor.
to protect. You know.
Mhm.
When you say police must to protect you, police must to know how to protect you.
I apologize.
You know-
Not because you were poor. No, that's again. Yeah,
Poor
it's
knowledge.
partial, but you were a child. You were underage.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, you didn't have anybody behind you. How old were you at that time?
At that time,
18,
18,
17?
Yeah.
So basically, probably your mom was not filthy rich, and you were still
But
a child.
She supported me.
There you go, but she didn't have money.
No,
I don't know if you had a bail or not.
no bail. My bail was ransom money, $1 million.
Oh,
You're guilty before you're proven innocent in this country, so
Yeah.
that's how it works.
As a matter of fact, you were the second person today that said that to me. Within a day, I heard that twice.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. But again, I mean, God willing, when you're going to be able to prove yourself that you were convicted wrongfully, do you think people that arrested you wrongfully, will you go after them or not?
I'm gonna definitely sue them. I have to. I mean, it's come on. You took
30 years of the life.
30 years of
You
my
know
life.
what is meaning of the 30 years of the life?
Of course.
You know, I always say to, few weeks ago I spoken with some police officer. I say, you know what, you did wrong arrest, yes? He said, no, it's not wrong arrest. It's not wrong arrest.
Let him deal with court. That's what they say.
Let him deal with the court. It's mean this is guy must to go to the booking. This is guy must to go to the all over. You know, all the system broke his name because police officer think
He did
was
his
right.
job.
He did his job. He's wrong.
But again, there is a difference between doing a job and completing the right job. I understand, yes, you want to get your paycheck. Again, it's not pertaining all police officers, but police officers that are doing wrong job, please just...
Most of them nice people. Again,
Right.
most of the police officer is nice people, family people, which is want to do right job. But how we know? Some of them is wrong. Some of them doesn't have any proper knowledge. Some of them was wrong place, wrong time, like a defendant sometimes wrong place, wrong time. You know?
That happens.
You understand?
You,
Yes.
you don't even have to be at the wrong place and wrong time. You could be all the way somewhere else. And if some person tells that you were at X, Y, and Z place, you get arrested.
Oh yes,
Unfortunately.
definitely, yes.
We've seen that last year.
Oh yes.
Thank you.
Because
So-
detective, you know what? I spoke with detective that day. Detectives, you know, first of all, detective doesn't have any proper knowledge how to investigate the
Case.
arrest. He's wanna arrest this guy, you know, but he must know how and why he must to put the handcuff. Face, I think you doesn't have any proof. And you know what? I was right. No proof. Zero proof.
That's exactly what happens.
But if I not be involved over there like a private investigator, you know, this poor guy go to the jail. Believe me.
The private investigator in my case, he did not speak to the people that I sent him to. They wrote affidavits later on. He was scared to go into the neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
He did not do his job later on. You know, it was according that era, that time. There was no cameras. There was no.
Right now, things got all over camera.
I mean,
It still doesn't help.
I mean,
No.
Fortunately.
They had a,
I understand, but thanks God, right now we have camera, you know, which is very helpful.
the only time
Right.
they had a camera.
But I do apologize to cut you off. Again, you have a camera, but in order for those evidence to go in front of a judge, you have to wait for years and years to go to trial.
Depends on
Why?
the lawyer.
I believe
Depends
it's
on
better
the lawyer also.
Right, correct. But I believe it's better off. Like for example, you did your investigation, you pulled off all the cameras and everything. You have the evidence, and I think it's better off if DA or whoever the detective looks at it and they close the case.
Wait a second.
Why they have to go through
It's the business.
court for years and years?
This is the business.
It's a business.
This is original business. You know, when I give it all this information, I did a phone call to DA. You know, I say I have the full evidence, video where is my customer was under this particular time. You know, DA say no, I don't want to accept it right now. You must go front of the judge. I said okay, I can go front of the judge. It means 1 month more. You know, my customer must to feel himself like
Prisoner.
a prisoner. Why? Because DA, by the law, DA must to take the case and say, you know what, this is the proof. He must to make the phone call to the judge, say, you know, Your Honor, I have the evidence. Customer not guilty.
The DA in this country, they're not all of them, but the majority, the ones that I've experienced, they were no good. No good.
No good?
No good whatsoever. That's the reason why I went down from appeal, because they asked the district attorney, assistant district attorney, do you feel that what was conducted in the trial to him was fair? He couldn't answer that question for a whole minute, so they gave me the appeal. That's a fact.
I believe you.
That was Judith Kay who made that decision. And my family was there, and the attorney that represented me was there, and I did my own appeal. But it goes to say that unless you know about the law, you're not gonna. It's gonna happen to you. It's gonna happen to you. It's gonna. You're gonna get. Most of the time, I get stopped in the street. They do not. I don't pull out your ID here. Go. Okay, bye.
This is Wilfredo, what I wanted to
Leave
say.
you alone.
We
Back
must
then.
to get together all these people which is standing behind the bar, which is the, you know,
Got wrongfully arrested.
wrongfully arrested, you know. I want to build a team. I want to build a professional team which is be working under these cases, you know. Which is be working under these cases because right now, thanks God,
To help out people that are behind bars that have been arrested wrongfully.
you know,
Even if they don't have their loved ones.
I want to build this team, you know. I want to build these teams, and right now, thanks God, you know, God willing, we can do it, this job. We can do it.
That would be a good thing instead of waiting
Because,
to go home.
you know,
Fix your
many
sentence.
thousands people. You know, be honest with you, I have more me a lot of cases from the last year. If this police officer did the one violation, you know, one violation, which is, I don't believe it. If he did one violation, believe me, and that this particular, when he's worked over there 15, 20 years, you know how many hundred of violations this guy did? How many hundred lives he's broke? But is it all these hundreds lives behind the bar or behind some wrongful arrest? You understand what I mean, yes?
Freddie,
Yes.
question. Behind bars,
Mhm.
like for example, people were arrested wrongfully or not wrongfully. Do they commit suicide?
Yes, they do. A lot of my friends commit suicide.
Wow.
You know, people that you meet there, you don't make friends in prison, but as time goes on, there's people that you get to know, whether you like it or not, and get to put in the situations that are sometimes bloody, and you become friends through certain circumstances and events that happen in prison.
Definitely.
And-
30 years behind the bar, you
and
must
a lot
have
of
some type of
people
friendship. Definitely.
Commit suicide. A lot of people say, "Listen, I had enough. I believed in the system like I did. I believed in the system." He asked me today if I believe in the system. Oh, hell no.
No?
No. I believe in myself.
Is in your opinion, is the system corrupted?
Oh, hell yeah.
He learned his lesson. 30 years behind bars?
You're
I'm
guilty
sorry.
until proven innocent. You're guilty. You're guilty. So you are guilty. Then you go there. How are you going to prove your innocence if you're by yourself? You need to go out here and get the facts. How can you get the facts? How can you speak to this person, make an affidavit? You can't because you're incarcerated.
Yeah, this is true.
If it's $1 million
It's
a month,
impossible.
come on
And
now.
how are you going to give a person a bail? You're supposed to give a person a bail according to their income. My income was not over $20,000. So why are you going to give me a bail that I wasn't even making $15,000? I was working for the
He's a
Caesar program,
child.
and I'm still, you know, how are you going to give me $1 million bail? What am I going to? What flight risk was I? What,
He's a citizen of the United
Yeah.
States.
What
Where is he
flight
going to
risk?
go?
I don't even have a passport. So how are you going to, you know? So then that's what I'm trying to say. The audacity of the system
Yeah,
to
this is
treat
true.
people. If you do not know the law, they're going to get over on you.
Oh yeah, this is
It's
true.
like the ICE agents. If you don't know your law, don't talk to them.
Yeah.
You don't have to speak to anybody in law enforcement. Just give them your ID and keep it walking. They can't do anything to you. You have that is your right to not incriminate yourself.
Yeah.
Your 14th and your 5th right, not to incriminate yourself in a court of law or anywhere. So then, why are you violating my rights, officer? Detectives.
But sometimes you cannot ask this one.
Why are you saying that I'm talking before a camera, and then when you bring it before the courthouse as evidence, all that says that I want a lawyer. But you told them in writing, and you swore on the oath that I was talking behind a camera that you haven't. A confession. Where is the confession? You have my co-defendant's confessions. That came out clear as day.
Wow.
But you don't have mine. But you swore up and down that I'm the one who's talking, that I'm the one who wrote that. Oh, hold on, whose signature is that? That's my co-defendant's signature, because I don't write like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy proved, he says, that's not his handwriting.
Hmm.
But still
It's
you
impossible
were behind
because-
bars.
But it doesn't, you know. Somebody had to pay the price. Somebody had to pay the piper, and I guess I was that. And, you know, the defendant,
It's been on the time of the crime. You not was on the city. Yes. You not was on the.
I wasn't even in the state.
in the
I
state.
was in the state of New Jersey
Wow.
when it happened. That
That's
was there
the
for a few
problem.
days, and I have the affidavits for that. But that they didn't.
They didn't even look at it.
That came too late in time. The investigator didn't do his investigations. But I fulfilled the contract. I said, listen, I'm gonna go to trial. I'm gonna go to trial, and I'm gonna win because I believe in the system. Once the judge sees that there's nothing against me, that there's nothing. Only these two, and they both contradicted themselves. One said I wore something when they asked, if I was there
This
with
is
you the
like I
same
told you
night,
before. If you know you're not guilty, you cannot go to the trial.
you know.
Freddie, if you wouldn't have gone to trial, what were you looking at?
He wanted to give me 5 to 15. I would have took it if I was guilty.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, many criminals like this one.
If I'm guilty, I'm gonna. Are you kidding me? I'm not gonna. That means you have something against me. Even when I was incarcerated, I did things in there that I hurt people. They called me. Yeah, I did that. Because he robbed from me, so I had to do what I had to do. So
Yeah, if you're guilty, you cannot go to the
guilty.
trial. You say, okay, give me whatever you want,
you take
and that's it.
You take it. But if you're innocent and you believe in the system that they quote unquote says it works for you, it didn't work for me.
But if you go to the trial, you're not guilty, you be guilty.
And many of us
Is
did not work for it.
Is it true that if you have done something behind bars, you get ticket or you get punished there?
Yeah, you
as
get
well?
punished
The same way
for
as
protecting
here?
yourself. There's no such thing as self-defense, not in this state. You still get punished anyway, so you might as well do what you have to do. There is the hypocrisy, the fraudulent representation. This country, anything you prove is fraudulent is $1 million off the bat. Okay, so why is it continuing? You know, it's a continuing thing. But I thank God and I thank that they have cameras. That these things that we said back then were these things that they were doing. They were beating us up and they torture you to get evidence out of you.
Most of the people love each other. Most of the people have kids together, you know. Be honest, when I see black people with white people, you know, white people with black people, Spanish people with the black people, you know, it's nice. People want to live together, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Politician must to be step out from the, you know, to make it, how I can explain
Don't
to
make
you.
scene out of nothing.
Definitely.
It's people life. It's people choice. They wanna do it. They gonna do it. Don't stand on their way.
No.
And by saying racism, making a big fuss out of nothing, they're just killing environment. They're killing people. They're committing crime.
Oh yeah. To say racism, to say black people
Exactly.
against the white people, this is the crime. This is original crime.
It's the
Yeah.
system.
This is the system.
The system does
How
that.
could a child know about being white or black or whatever, X, Y, and Z? How can a child know? You're going on Facebook today, you see such a stuff, it's like, oh my God, I mean, it's a child, 6 years old. Why a child would beat up another child? Why would they do that? And due to the fact that it's going on in a government site, people are getting aggravated, and because people are getting aggravated, probably they're talking about it in the house, and kids listen to it. That's why a lot of people say, don't talk in front of kids.
No.
If you do something, do behind closed doors, so the kids wouldn't hear or see that. The child doesn't have to know what's going on in
You know what?
in the
This is
world.
the some type of crime.
Of course.
What politicians do it.
Mhm.
This is the some type of crime. This is the felony.
Mm-hmm.
You know? To teach people hit each other. This is the criminal. This is the crime.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, Wilfredo, I thank you very much for your time. And Mr. Zakin, thank you
Thank you
for
too.
being with us.
And I thank you guys for allowing me to speak here and sit here before you today.
Thank
It's
you.
an honor, privilege, and a pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
It was a pleasure to have both of you in here. And thank you very much for watching us. Once again, if you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to text us or email us at lawlessnessandhumanrights@gmail.com. I thank you very much. It was